What's up, guys, and welcome to the video. The inspiration for this video, where I'm going to be going through all of Chimaira's self-titled songs and showing off some of my favorite riffs, came to me last night as I came across a video from Josh Middleton here, where he's going over his favorite Edge of the Earth riffs. And I didn't watch the whole video because I'm not familiar with this album, but I just scrubbed through it. And first of all, Josh's riff writing is absolutely incredible, and the execution is just top notch. So that's interesting to watch, even if you don't know a single one of these songs. Like, unfortunately, I don't. I'm gonna have to check this out. It's from his band Silosis. But anyways, he's just going through talking about the songs, you know, how the riffs came about, interesting facts about him and stuff. And I thought, well, shoot, why don't I do that same very thing with the self-titled record? Chimaira Self Titled is hot right now with the release of the vinyl, all the news about that. I figured, let's just do it. We'll have some fun. It's my personal favorite Chimaira record. So I'm just going to take you through and we're just going to see what happens. This is kind of just off the cuff. We'll just go in order here and just, talk a little bit about each tune. Let's start with Nothing Remains, first track on the record. So the theme of this, like I said, is going to be my favorite riffs. So that's the title of the video, my favorite riffs from self-titled. So I'm going to just try to pick out my favorite one from each one, but I'm sure other things will come about as my thought process comes together, as I'm going through this and everything. But Nothing Remains, I would guess that when people think of Nothing Remains, they maybe think of this riff, it's kind of a special riff, though. Just that cool, I don't know what, Arabic, Middle Eastern sounding part, lots of cool samples going on in there, awesome rhythm section behind it, cool drums, everything like that. And I definitely think that that's an awesome part. But my favorite riff happens kind of shortly thereafter in the bridge. It's this one. Messing up my favorite riff, But just a cool riff, lots of good picking in there, a key change. I think that continues underneath the solo, so it's a great solo riff. It's got, like I said, that key change in it, which, if you've heard me say before, I think helps write better solos, better vocal parts, different things you can play over and sing over, stuff like that. So that's gonna be my favorite one from Nothing Remains, that bridge riff. I use it in sound checks, when I'm testing amps and stuff like that. It's really kind of just like a go-to riff for me. Save Ourselves. So I definitely love the main, just like verse riff. Just cool. For me personally, very And Justice for All inspired. But really, this I think this will be interesting. I mentioned this briefly in a Meet podcast that me, Mark, and Chris did recently, talking about the self-titled. But it was just kind of a thought I hadn't thought of in many, many years. But the solo. That little thing. We're standing on the stairs of the London Astoria, about like the stairs to go onto the stage right before we're about to take the stage. And I'm just noodling around, continuing with my warm-ups before the show, and I just kind of play that little thing. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. And I turn to Matt, and he's standing there getting warmed up too. It's loud in the place, hard to hear. So I'm like, Matt, play this. Just go underneath. All right. Play that for me. And it's... So I would say that was the very first thing written for the self-titled record. Now, Chimaira aficionados will know from the dehumanizing process that there's actually the stick and knife riff. Where Matt and I are sitting in the back of the bus, and one of us is playing that riff, and I'm like, oh, imagine the lyrics over that stick and knife in your... Well, that riff ended up being the bridge riff in Comatose, which we're going to get to, song 5 from the self-titled here. But so that riff was the earliest riff, but it wasn't necessarily written for the self-titled. It was just a riff that was floating around in the, Chimaira Riff archive or whatever. But back to that Astoria show in England, the Impossibility or Reason tour cycle was winding down. It was one of the last shows. We knew that the whole cycle was ending and we were going to go home and that we were going to eventually start working on a new record. So I'm just dabbling around doing some things. And I want to say that little solo from Save Ourselves, that first little part might have been the very first thing written for the record. And it was just, like I said, just backstage, standing around, Matt, try this. And it kind of like just started filling my head with ideas of where that song could go, what I was thinking, how I wanted the songs on the album to start, coming about, things like that. So just kind of some interesting history about that one. But favorite riff, probably that verse riff. Inside the Horror. Oh, dude. Classic Debris riff. Badass. Obviously easy, but yet so memorable. Just sticks out, right? Just a cool riff. But I don't think it's my favorite riff. I think my favorite riff might be that bridge riff. And I haven't done this in a long time, so I haven't done a lot of these in a long time. So bear with my mistakes and stuff, I didn't go through and practice the album before turning on the cameras here. But so just kind of like a cool riff, triumphant in some way. I don't know, it reminds me of, it's also got a sick harmony going on. Matt's doing some lower thing, but it's got some like, I don't know, medieval like battle kind of vibe to it. Something, like from very Caesar's Palace, Morbid Angel, that Domination record, maybe kind of inspired that sound, big octaves. So that's probably my favorite riff from Inside the Horror. And then the solo, which thank God so many of you guys have mentioned that you love. I think it's just that first part, the way it comes in. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. Just thought, that'll be cool. But it ended up being something that so many people have mentioned to me over the years as something they like. So that's awesome. Love it. Wish we played that one more. Salvation. So, I mean, I guess the theme riff from this one. Probably my favorite, if I had to pick one like that. And that's actually a Mark riff or a Mark concept. And Mark, for those that don't know, people are always surprised to hear this, but Mark plays guitar as well. And Mark has tons of riffs scattered throughout the entire Chimaira catalog. Full songs, in fact, throughout the entire Chimaira catalog. But of many of the riffs that he writes, a lot of the time, I think one of the reasons that makes Mark and I such a good writing team, or good bandmates, is a lot of the time he just has great ideas. He hears good things and he'll come up with a concept for something, or just like a bare bone foundation of a riff, and then he lets me do my thing to it. I'll put my spin on it, if you will, and whatever that is, a tail, some trills, vibrato, whatever it may be. And I don't remember exactly, but I do recall standing there as Mark came up with this kind of melody, but it was in a simpler form. How about like that? Something like that. And I just put a little swing and that tail. So, great idea, and then I just take it to another level. Same with this riff too. This is a Matt DeVries riff in the bridge. But I think we talked together and we're like, put a tail on there, kind of like, yeah, that's cool. Or let's trill it up. Some triplets. So that we work together, but I would call that a DeVries riff, a sick one. It's got a great groove. Cool. Moving on. Comatose. So I already named, the stick and knife riff is what we call it, but it's the bridge and solo riff. Key change. So just a sick riff. I'm so proud of that song. Love that song. Definitely one of my favorites from the record. Cool. Like I remember writing that and we were so excited, especially Kevin and I, probably Matt as well, but Kevin and I were so excited about that song and the way it was coming together. And we were working on it one day. Typical, we worked Monday through Friday writing the record, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, every day. But with this one in particular, we'd write all day, go home for the day, eat dinner, and then get on the phone and talk about it. Like, oh, okay, maybe we should extend that part by 2 bars, or let's do that little part a little bit faster. Or I was thinking tomorrow I want to try this new tail on the end of the verse riff or something like that. So then we'd work all that stuff out the next day at practice, improve it, refine it, and then talk about it again that night, and then keep going in. And over the course of 3-4 days a week or whatever like that, we put that song together. And that's how we do a lot of the stuff. But good memories from Comatose, definitely one of my faves. Proud of that one. It slams, just relentless from start to finish. Left for Dead, the classic riff. So just a cool little pattern. Came up with one day. I also had that whole intro in mind, probably first. The dun, da, da, da. Now I wanted all that to be harmonized and the drums swelling in volume. So I had that concept in my mind completely before we even started putting it together. And then I think it just felt good to bust into that next riff. And so many people ask about that riff, again, which I'm grateful for, proud of. I don't know why. I'm never going to play through that song or anything like that, but I got the tab on the screen here for you if you want to give that little riff a try. But Left for Dead is one of my favorites that we never play live, and maybe we have once ever. But cool. I love a line Mark says in the, I don't know if it's like the pre-choruses or the verses, I can't remember right now, but he finishes each one with like something like, the money you save will cushion your pillows in hell, or something. Just a fantastic line, although I'm messing it up. I can't remember exactly. Butchering it is what I'm trying to say. Butchering his lyrics there, but it's something like that. The money you save will cushion your pillows in hell. Definitely a cool line. I like that one. Everything You Love. Maybe my favorite from the record. It's tied between that one and Bloodlust, but Everything You Love. So this, just the intro. So always love that. And then the main riff. One of my favorites ever. Not only because the riff's cool, but what makes it cool is just the drum beat behind it. Those punishing double kicks. I remember Kevin saying something like, the only way I can do this is if I play sextuplets. And I didn't know exactly what that meant at the time. Still really don't, twice as fast as triplets or 6 beats per, I don't know, something like that. But anyways, we ended up working out awesome. And it's one of those things where when it comes in, there's no way for anybody who hears it not to be like, huh, that's interesting. At the very least, you know, the double bass with that stuff. That bridge, that one's also another sound check riff for me. If you don't know what that means, like if I'm on stage and my front of house engineer is like, okay, stage left guitar, and he wants to hear it, get the levels and stuff, a lot of time I'll play that riff. I consider it a sound check riff. This is another one. This one's fat. It's the bridge. Little rusty. So bangers, main riff and that bridge riff, everything you love. Bloodlust, dude. Love that riff. Chorus. So anyways, just a groovy ass riff. It's got a lot of Texas to it. Or maybe Cleveland? I don't know. Some Cleveland? We can call that. We can rep that. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites there. The depth of the song, the lyrics are cool. Everything. It's a long one. There's one more thing I want to say about this one. I can't remember right now. Oh well. Yeah, Bloodlust, dude. Pray for All. Sick. Probably said to Kevin, like, here, do a drum beat just to start this. And I got to, you know, at this type of tempo, and I got something in mind, and it was this riff. Sorry, just had to keep rolling with it, you know? Can't not play the I Will Make You Pay riff, that chorus riff, very sick as well. Oh, and I remembered what I was gonna say back in Bloodlust. It was that I have many quick riffs lesson videos on a lot of these songs here on the channel, so make sure you check those out, as well as tabs for every single one of the songs, 100% accurate, over in my Patreon community. Links for everything in the description below. If you wanna check that stuff out, I'll have my quick riffs playlist that you can click on and see. There's lots of self-titled songs from there. So yeah, that was Pray for All. Love that one. Definitely one of my favorites. I'd say my favorites are Pray for All, Bloodlust, Everything You Love, and Comatose. And I love all the other ones too, but those are probably my faves. Lazarus. This is another Mark one. But favorite riff from this has just got to be the verse. The way the verse gets set up. So really cool riff there. Another just cool Mark concept. You know, we added some harmonies, things like that. But I think he pretty much put that whole tune together, you know, at least the skeleton. And then we all get together and work on it and add our pieces and stuff. And I think that's how the best Chimaira material comes together. There are a few songs here or there where one guy just kind of wrote himself and the rest of the band just learns, you know, but I think the best material really came together when it was a lot of us or all of us jamming together and everybody's hearing everything in real time, adding their contributions and their ideas, which often leads to other ideas that you wouldn't have thought of on your own. And, you know, so I know that's part of the beauty of our music, is our combined effort. So yeah, that's that. Did I hit on any of your favorite riffs there? Feel free to let me know if there's anything that you want to mention or that I missed. And yeah, looking forward to playing more of these songs. Maybe they'll be featured since we're celebrating kind of this 20 year here. I don't know if you could still get the vinyl or not. The pre-sale was supposed to end like 4 days ago, but earlier this morning I went to Chimaira.com. It appears you can still buy them. I don't want to give everybody wrong information, but it appears you can still get the vinyl. I don't know. I don't know how that's working. I don't really ask. But that's going to do it. There's no reason you should stop now, though, because I have tons of Chimaira related material here on the channel, plus tons of guitar lesson stuff if you want to learn more of this stuff, as I mentioned. So, but at any rate, I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to check out my wonderful Patreon community if you'd like to get a little closer, get a little more involved, help support the channel, have direct communication with me anytime you want. See my videos early most of the time. Monthly giveaways, all sorts of cool stuff. So check that out, patreon.com/RobArnoldWorld, plus my guitar instructional DVD. Whether you want the DVD or not, it's shipping with 10 of my custom guitar picks. You can get that right now, only 25 bucks, free worldwide shipping, quick shipping, all that. So everything I mentioned here in the description below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already, so you don't miss future videos. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate everybody watching, all the support, comments, interaction, everything. I'll see y'all on the next one.